10,000 ringgit enough to live in KL? A guy shared his monthly living expenses for his family of 4 who's living in KL, and he said that 10,000 ringgit a month isn't enough for his family. He even gave a breakdown of his expenses. If you look at the breakdown, it's actually not that he's living a luxurious life lah. The biggest chunk of his expenses actually go to his house rental, which is 1,600 ringgit. Then childcare for 2 kids, 1,830 ringgit. Food expenses for his family at 1,700 ringgit. Then for his 2 cars at 960 ringgit a month. Including all the other variable expenses, his expenses adds up to 10,338 ringgit a month. He further adds that even if his family cuts down their expenses and go with just bare necessity, they will still need 7,468 ringgit every month. Some netizens think that he can actually reduce certain expenses like subscription bill and stuff like that. There are also others who think that his expenses are actually fair, because you can't be living like a robot, right? All of us would need to pamper ourselves a little bit sometimes. That's not asking for too much, right? So this got me thinking, how much does it actually cost to live comfortably in KL? We always hear people say,
cut down on your expenses, then you get to save more.
We end up cutting it down to the bare bones, where we spend just enough to survive. For some people, it is doable, but for others, it may not. After all, we are not living to work, we are working to live. As you know, life as a startup entrepreneur can be quite demanding. I need a pair that gives me that extra flexibility to do all that. On top of that flexibility, this pants is also moisture wicking. Hey! Moisture wicking lah, not waterproof!
Oh, sorry.
Moisture wicking, it means it removes and dries sweat from the skin rapidly, not waterproof. You know those awkward sweat patches that you get? Yeah, you don't have to worry about that with Bottom Slap. And it's made from ultra breathable fabric that doesn't trap heat. So, even it's such a hot weather out there, it feels like aircon down there. I love it so much, I even have another pair, but in shorts, for a more casual day. Now, if you're a busy entrepreneur like me, you gotta get yourself a pair of bottom slaps. Bottom slaps. Bottoms slaps.
Bottom slap.
Whatever lah. This pair of pants.
Bottom Slap. Use our link in the description and get a 10% discount off your purchase.
So, how much do we really need to live comfortably in KL? I too have a family of 4, 1 wife and 2 kids. One at 6 months old and another at 4 years old. For myself, what I think is comfortable life is I'm able to feed my family well, save up for emergencies, retirement, children's education and some entertainment as well lah. I'm not looking at some luxurious life, but good enough that I don't have to worry about money every month. This is how it'll look like to me. Let's begin with rental, where I'll expect to spend around 1,500 ringgit every month. For 1,500 ringgit, you can get decent 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment in PJ area. And for me, my whole life is in PJ and I work in PJ, so I would like to live in PJ as well. Then there will be electricity bill. Since you are living in Malaysia, I would expect to have at least 2 air cons in the house, and probably when we sleep every night, turning it on for about 2-3 hours to cool down the environment. And with that, I would expect the bill to come up to 250 ringgit every month. Then there's water bill, but water bill cheap lah in Malaysia, 30 ringgit ni. And in this technology age, we definitely can't live without broadband, so that would cost me another 100 ringgit. Since both me and my wife will need to go to work, both of us also will need car, right? For me, I don't need a luxurious car. As long as the car can bring me from point A to point B, it's fine. Based on the current price of an Axia, if I take a 7-year loan, the installment should come up to around 500 ringgit a month. And I'll do the same for my wife. Let's not forget, for car, we also need to pay for car insurance. Based on my estimation for a Perodua Axia, the car insurance will come up to around 1,000 ringgit 1 year. That is without NCD lah. So with 2 cars, that is 2,000 ringgit a year. Dividing it to 12 months, that will be 167 ringgit for both of the cars. Not to forget, you also need to maintain your car every few months. Usually, if your driving range is not too much, probably about 6 months once. Estimated for each service session, we need to spend about 200 ringgit per car. So 2 cars, 4 sessions a year, that will come up to 800 ringgit a year, and divide that by 12, we'll be looking at around 70 ringgit every month. Petrol, I will expect around 1 full tank every week. That should come up to about 400 ringgit every month. And once in a while, when you travel, you need to pay for toll. Let's put it a budget of 300 ringgit every month. Parking, I would expect about 300 ringgit every month, inclusive of working space season parking and also going out to shopping malls during the weekend and stuff like that. I think 300 is pretty safe. Since me and my wife will be both working, we'll need to send our kids kids to childcare, and childcare services are pretty expensive in Malaysia, and that will cost around 1,000 ringgit per child. Yes, that's the rate. You can go and ask around. Personally, I would like to send my kids to some enhancement classes as well, such as music classes or maybe those left brain, right brain kind of stuff. And those classes are pretty expensive. Usually it costs around 100 or 100 plus per class. So one class per week, that's 400 to 500 ringgit per kid, and 2 kids will come up to around 1,000 ringgit. Kids poop a lot. They need pampers. Now, definitely depending on the age, but we're saying that kids, they're young, yeah, they'll definitely need it. Usually one packet will cost about 70 to 80 ringgit for 70 to 80 pieces. So 1 month, I would budget around 400 ringgit for pampers. One very important food for a kid is milk, and milk powder is expensive. Usually it costs around 80 ringgit to 100 ringgit per can, and that's like 1 kg can, and kids can really finish milk very, very fast. Usually around 1 week, 1 can. Mobile phone bill, depending on the plan, but I think that the cheapest in the market can be around 30 ringgit per person, so me and my wife, that'll be 60 ringgit. Now let's talk about food. Food is expensive, including eating outside and buying food grocery for the whole family. It would easily come up to around 2,500 ringgit every month. Don't forget, you also need toilet paper at home and also other detergent and other sort of grocery, right? And we'll estimate around 500 ringgit every month just for that. This next thing, this is very important. Malaysians always like to ignore this. Insurance. If you got a family of 4, you want to make sure you have enough coverage for the family, because if anything happens to you, someone need to take care of them. And if anything happens to them, I'm very sure you want them to be taken care of. I estimate about 200 ringgit per policy for each person in the house. That's 800 ringgit every month already. And the last one, I don't want to live like a robot. I want to enjoy my life. We are talking about comfortably living in PJ area ma. So you need to set aside some money for entertainment as well. For me, I would say for shopping, for Netflix, for some entertainment with the family and some recreational activity, it would add up to around 2,000 ringgit every month. And the last part, we have been talking about spending and spending. No need to save money. Need to save money also, right? Need to save for emergency fund. Maybe you want to buy a house also, you need to save money. Then children education, then retirement, all this. For me, I think a comfortable amount to set aside for saving and investment should be around 4,000 ringgit every month. And this would add up to roughly 18,000 ringgit a month. It's really expensive to live in KL, and this kind of life that I described, it's not even the kind that you are driving a Porsche, drive Axiani, only save more money and have some comfortability in terms of spending with family. It's really just being comfortable. I understand the definition of comfortable varies for different people. Some may need more, some may need less. With that in mind, if both husband and wife are working, each person would need to earn around 9,000 ringgit every month. If you are single income earning family, this means that one person needs to earn 18,000. But I do understand, not every household can earn such an income. And at the end of the day, we all just have to learn how to live within our means. If you are still watching this, I would encourage you to go home, sit down with your spouse, discuss what a comfortable life would mean for you and your family. Then perhaps together set a goal and work towards it. I know it's difficult, but it is possible. So, how much do you spend every month? And do you think you live a comfortable life? Tell us in the comments below.